that.
Welcome to another edition of Real Talk Straight Talk. It's been such a trying day. It's been one of the hardest days. We've had some technical difficulties. You know, sometimes in this is what happens when you're trying things and you're doing things. Want to welcome my guest. I'm going to talk to them in a minute, but before I do that, I'm going to talk about all our sponsors. Big shouts to the Wien Community Center, London's first Black community center. Got to say a very special shout out to Black Lotus, one of our newer sponsors, Type Diabetes. Also talking about Pride and the Fix Hair Salon. Angel's going to be back on the show, I believe, in another week or two. Got to send another shout out to the 613 area with Ottawa Rhythm Movements Community Association. They've got their Rhythm Flow Fest August 12th and 13th. I know last week I said it was 5th and 6th. That was my apologies, my bad. It's actually August 12th and 13th. Coming up to Hamilton, Canada's #1 reggae music station, Soul Kitchen Radio. Big shouts to Big John doing his thing out there. Welcome to the London community. So to all my people in the 519 area code, there are so many different cultures here. Today we're going to talk about Cameroon to London. We've got the cast and the crew. They've got a movie premiering this weekend. I'm not even going to get into any details as yet, so I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Like I said, we're coming from Cameroon to London. The ladies have only been in Canada on a whole for 1 day, so I can't really ask them about experiences. All I can ask them about is the drive, so they're going to tell me about the drive as well too. But I'm going to take it all the way to the end to Temi, and welcome to Real Talk.
Thank you very much, Collins.
I want you to introduce yourselves. I usually say ladies first because, you know, that's how we're supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
Old school, right? So, who's going first?
I'll go.
Introduce yourself, please.
Okay. I am Zita Minaj. I am an actress in the movie Behind Gate and a student as well from Cameroon.
Once again, from Cameroon to London. How you doing?
I'm very fine.
How was the flight?
It was quite tiring, but we thank God everything went well.
How long was the flight?
I think from Paris to Toronto, that was about 7 hours. Yeah, 7 hours.
And from Cameroon to Paris?
I think it was almost the same thing, right? Yeah, same thing.
14
7
hours.
Yes, 14.
So whenever you come this way, I hope you're here for at least 2 weeks because
Yeah, I will.
Okay. And you are?
My name is Ranibel Kizi. I'm an actress, I'm a beautician. I'm in the beauty sector as well. I come from the northwest region of Cameroon.
Okay.
Yeah.
People have been struggling with her name, that's why I'm going to apologize. You know, this is called Real Talk because we say exactly how it is. I've been struggling with her name. She's told it to me about 5 times. So I promise you by the end of the show, I'm going to get it. I don't know what's going to happen if I don't, but I'm going to do my best. I'm going to get it. I'm going to go all the way to the end. I mean, introduce yourself. Let me know a little bit about you.
My name is Temi Asachop, or just called Temi for short. I'm actually the producer of the movie Behind Gates. I'm a graduate from Toronto Film School and tried to put this movie together. It took me 2 years to put things together, and we thank God I was able to invite some of my cast members, Ranibe and Zita, to be here in Canada for me to show to the Canadian public what this movie is all about. We'll begin with Toronto, London, then other cities in Canada will follow.
Before we get to the movie, as a person that's never been to the Cameroon, right? And I'm gonna say I've never been to Africa, period, right? Coming to the Cameroon, what should I expect? And I'm not gonna let you tell me, I'm not gonna let you answer it, I'm gonna let the ladies tell me, what should I expect if tomorrow I purchase my ticket, I get on that plane, what city should I go to?
Yeah, I think Bamenda,
Bamenda.
that's the best place to be.
Why?
I'll say because the people are very welcoming, hospitality, and the food, their traditional meals, they are one of a kind. So I'll recommend you taste one of their dishes. The topography is equally, welcoming.
First thing that I should do when I get off the plane?
First thing.
Yeah,
Eat
first
food.
thing. Eat first.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, second thing I should do when I get off the plane. Let's say I've got this excitement for being there. Forget the hotel.
Yeah.
Forget where I'm staying. That's minor. What should be my first my introduction? We've got the food, right? Introduction to Cameroon. Okay, I'll let you think about it and we'll talk about it at the end.
Probably.
First experiences in coming through to the airport, was it, and I know you've been to Paris, compared to the Paris airport,
Are you asking about experiences?
Yeah,
It was quite challenging, interacting with other people and trying to locate directions from the airport to the other section. It was quite challenging because we had to go around, come back. We found ourselves in the same position, turning, just like, and so on and so forth. So it was just challenging.
Okay. And I'm gonna say Renee for short because I'm starting the process of getting her name. What was it like? Tell me about the airport like.
The airport.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we arrived at the airport, we had to go down there because it's a very big airport. I've never been to Paris. That was our first time to Paris. So we're turning round and round and round and round and round. There was a time we went round and came back to the same position, and I was like, we should enter the train again. It will probably take us back to the plane where we landed.
Yeah.
So we had at the end of the day we had to ask.
Yeah.
We had to ask, and they gave us directions. Then we followed the directions, and then we were waiting for the next flight to come to Canada.
Okay. How long was the layover?
It's like 6 hours.
Okay. So altogether we're talking 7 hours, and
That's between-
so that's just a whole day.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so we did.
Okay. I want to learn a little bit more of life in the Cameroon. And I need people in London so we get acclimated. I think that's the right word. So life in the Cameroon, and then we're going to get into the movie and stuff and what it depicts, right? Tell me a little bit about growing up.
Okay, growing up as a kid, I faced a lot of challenges, first of all, because being a woman, first of all, growing up in a society where, because at first, what we do now wasn't really accepted. Like, when you see yourself liking, acting, doing some very weird things that has to do with acting, people always look at you like, why is this child going the wrong direction? So I used to have those challenges because I used to be extraordinary. So I used to have a lot of struggles in society, even in my quarter. But then I kept living like that because it was my passion. You know, having these little, I don't know, socials.
Yeah.
Like you go on stage, try to
Yeah,
do
yeah.
some things, you know. So it was really quite challenging until just now that people are getting to know that Cameroon can actually do something. Like we are being celebrated now because we have embraced the acting and everything, and we now enjoy doing it, and people are really accepting it now. So it's a whole flex.
So being a woman growing up in a male-dominated society and
Yeah.
having to do things that's non-traditional.
Yeah.
I'm from a West Indian background, from Jamaica, so growing up at that time, once again, it's pretty well the same thing, right? Male-dominated society, women's supposed to be doing certain things. We as men get away with a lot. Can I say that? Yeah, we as men. Yeah, that's why we call this real talk, right?
Yeah.
We get away with a lot, right? So, you, Zita, when did you decide, like, was it a passion from early? Because it sounds like for Renee it was a passion from early.
Yeah.
She knew this is.
Okay, to me, it was a passion, I would say so, because back in the university, I did journalism and media. So dealing already with the media and, you know, from there, when I was done with my degree, I said to myself, right, since I have passion for, you know, talking, doing a lot of things, why not go into acting? So I had to pursue my career in performing and visual art. From there, I got to feature in 1 or 2 films. Like now, Behind Gate, this is one of the biggest films I have featured in so far, and it's taking me places like it is. So the passion I had for this particular acting has brought me to where I am today. So it's all about passion, though it's quite challenging because at some point your parents will be like, are you sure this is what you want to do? Are you sure you can go to that extent with this field of study you've chosen? I was just like, yeah, I think I can go. So seeing my works later on, you know, they got to support me in the whole process, like, yes, you're doing something great out of this field you chose, and the support is quite there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Renee, I'm gonna come back to you because, and I'm gonna talk about the support that you, because it didn't sound like you had the support that was necessary, right? So your paths are a little different. Am I reading that correctly?
Yes, you are reading it correctly because, anyways, I started acting in 2018. So back then, I didn't really have any support because my mom, first of all, is from a Christian background. Like she's that staunch Catholic, and she wouldn't accept anything that has to do with acting. So I really faced challenges at the level of the school, my house, the quarter, but so far so good. Everyone has really accepted and they have, you know, learned to like what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's rather unfortunate that my mom is not alive today to celebrate me, to see how far I've really gone in the entertainment industry. But then I have a lot of support from my fans, my friends, and my family now.
Okay.
A lot.
I'm gonna talk to Derek for a minute because he's like the forgotten man at the end of it, right? But you did film studies in Toronto, right?
Yes.
Take me back to your days in the Cameroon.
Oh, yeah. I started my career as.
Now, hold on. I want you to. I want to go before the career,
Yeah.
right? I want to hear because I want to hear you what you did before the career. Take me to school, right? So we get a sense, and then tell me when you decided, like, okay, this is where you're gonna go.
Yeah, I grew up in a very disciplined home. My late dad was a disciplinarian, and I was one kid who was very bright in school and an all-round student always. So we had this training, which is like you have to go to school, take a formal career like an engineer, a doctor, and then graduate, then become responsible. You couldn't choose anything for yourself because if you choose things like entertainment, sports, or all of that, it's like you are being very wayward. That was the perception at the time. Not really like maybe most parents or most people at that time thought or were being made. No, it's because entertainment and sports were not very much celebrated. I gradually, over the years, went to the university, did sciences, all with the intention of becoming an engineer, which I eventually did. But I did not feel myself fulfilled. Like, this is what I really want to do. I also got into another trade of business, and as well, it wasn't very fulfilling. Then I began to search, and then when I got to Canada, I realized entertainment is really what I want to do. And I've been in this for the last 3 years now, and I must say I am very fulfilled. Very fulfilled because at this point, I'm not yet reaping the benefits of my effort, but I don't feel worried. I just like what I do, supporting young entertainers, supporting the industry. And I chose to begin from Cameroon because that's my roots. And I also tried to do a personal study, and I realized that there is this gap between the African diaspora and the Africans living in homeland in terms of entertainment. Most Africans in the diaspora feel like they are lost, not really lost per se, like most of the time they want to consume entertainment products or services from other cultures because they feel like our own entertainment content is not good enough. So I decided to come up with an idea, which is to bridge this gap between the African diaspora, well, not just Afro diaspora, let me put it this way, and the people back home. Because if you take at it critically, you will see that the entertainment industry, the Afro entertainment industry, is really underserved because we depend a lot on other industries or in other sectors. But I realized that if we could do something of our own, no matter how small, local it is, we begin from there, we gradually will build that interest in the industry. It's not been an easy task for me, but one thing is for sure, I like what I do, irrespective of the fact that I grew up thinking that this is not a go area. But at this point, I really enjoy what I do. And then my wife, my young kids, my siblings, everyone supports me. They try to encourage me, like, okay, this is what you want to do, then we show you support. Of course, I'm here today thanks to my elder sister, Scholastica Peace. Big sister, if you're watching me.
Scholastica.
Because she's the one who arranged all of this for me, because they realize I really have that passion to be an entertainer, and they have been giving me all the support I need.
I got 2 questions for you.
Yeah.
The first one, do you think you had to leave Cameroon to change course, to get into entertainment? And I guess with that, is there more pressure being a man in Cameroon and having to stick to the traditional roles? Like you said, your parents would have wanted you to be a professional, right?
Yeah.
Entertainment business is not considered professional, right? Did you need to leave Cameroon to be able to explore that area?
I will answer that question in 2 ways. First, being a man in Cameroon or in Africa has its own pressures.
Yeah, that's.
And most of the time, to be candid, they have to do with acceptance and financial. Meanwhile, here, you don't need to be rich, or you don't even need to have money to do many things. You just need to have the mindset. That's a big difference. Like now, I have to be honest to you, no matter how much rich or resources I had, what I have done here in Canada I might not have been able to do in Cameroon, just because the opportunities are limited, the mindset is constrained. Like here, like I said, you quickly, within just 3 days, we spoke for our first time. We were so open. You're giving me your platform to showcase what we are doing. Trust me, if it were not in Canada, it's in another country, maybe we use about 6 months just to book for something like this.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we use about 6 months to book something like this. So you see, it is like back in Cameroon, the challenges are there, but the mindset is what makes the difference by being here.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go Cameroon's place in world arts. Let's start with music, right?
Yeah,
You know, the biggest powers right now are between South Africa or
Nigeria.
right?
Yeah.
Um, and Cameroon is not considered on that level,
Mm.
right? Where do you see it going?
Yes, I'll take you back. I've been in the industry now just for 3 to 4 years. I aspire to become prime entertainment executive. What I notice is exactly what I was explaining to you. The mindset and the support system is very lacking in Cameroon. In Cameroon, it's all about money. That's the mindset, that's the perception. It's all about money, which is not very true. But one thing which is prominent is the young people are willing to do the work.
Okay.
You see these two beautiful ladies for sitting here with me. They have other options. They could be doing other things. She has a whole empire, a whole very big business. She's here, I'm not even paying her. She just had that mindset. She just decided that, okay, this is what we want to do. We are like the trailblazers. She's right here, she's a master student. She abandoned her studies just to be here for these few weeks. You know, she's not being paid for that. That's the difference between the generation we have now in Cameroon and those ahead. Those ahead, in the 60s, the 70s, Cameroon was the leading player in music, the Makossa music. But there is something that didn't click, which is probably those who sponsored most of those old-time artists and those artists themselves. There was a loose point. Most of those old artists focused on themselves individually rather than building a platform where maybe many young people will come and spring up from. South Africa and Nigeria have mastered the art, and the art is creating platforms. Like in Nigeria, you can't even beat them. Because when it comes to music, film, they have all the sponsors, they have all the platforms. You just need to show them that this is what you can do, you're talented, and then you're good. But in other countries which you say are not being rated, it is the problem of the mindset and the older generation. I'm not trying to play blame game, but I'm just being factual. Like, we have the talent, more than enough, but the problem is the enabling environment and the mindset of the people ahead of this current generation.
Okay, so then the problem so much isn't a problem of country, it's a problem of generational gap.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say that because, okay, so part of how this program and the stuff that we're doing here, right, is me trying to reach out and connect with my younger people.
Yeah.
And the reason is came to London, right? So I'm an immigrant to London, right? Came to London, became a DJ, reached a certain status, right? And then took some time off and came back, and the younger generation is saying, well, there's a gap here because the older guys are not reaching out and supporting us. They're not passing on the wisdom or the experiences and all that stuff. Instead, some of it is like there's a competition that in some spots the older generation is still trying to hold on to what they have in a certain way. So instead of there being a flow,
Yeah.
there's more resistance,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So even here in London, so it's not so much of a, like I said, not so much of it being a country, whether it's Cameroon or
Yeah.
Nigeria. It's just how the generations are perceiving things.
Yeah.
And as you're saying, it's the younger generation now that's going to move Cameroon forward.
Yeah. And I'm very convinced about that, because when you now look at the content we make in terms of film, in terms of music, in terms of comedy, in terms of just like even online social influencers, we have people with a lot of potential. I'm just a little bit scared that most of these people may end up just getting frustrated if they don't have the platform. That's why I'm thinking personally as an initiative, like I'll do what we can do as a community to always try to pick one or two, three whom we see that are promising, and you elevate them. Because that elevation is not going to help me personally. It's not even going to help the person you're elevating, but it's going to create a ripple effect down the road where an enabling environment will be created. Besides, my life is not all about Cameroon. I live in Canada.
I hear you.
And I also have my own intentions or have a plan on how to do things in Canada when it comes to entertainment.
And now I'm going to get back to the ladies. One of the things he said is that both of you had other things that you could be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Why was it important for you guys to do this? And what made this so appealing, right? He said you have an empire, right? And I like the use of the word empire, right? So, I mean, if you use the word empire, that means you're doing some, I'm going to say, big things.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And Zita, you left, you know, you have your degree, you have your education, you have other things that you could be doing. So, really, why was it important to do this, and why was it necessary to come to Canada to be a part of the experience?
Okay, I would say from the beginning of this project, from day one, I'll say first things first, we have this atmosphere of how conducive you are in a particular project, how the living, the standard, how the things unfold from day one to today. So I'll say my experience with this project so far, it has been quite appealing. I have been, enjoying every step of the whole process. So this is a stage in this project where I won't just sit back and watch others do it. I took part in this project. So elevating this project to another level and seeing it going further has always been my greatest wish. So if things have gone this far and me seeing that people are willing and wanting to watch this project, why not go to that extent to show the world that this is what I did back then and it is ready for consumption. So I am just trying to make it easier for others to be able to have access to this piece of art. So I'll say it has been that way, the journey so far.
Oh, I'm getting
Rani Bear.
Rani Bear.
Yeah.
Bear.
Bear.
Yes.
It's that rolling of the tongue that I'm not getting. Rani Bear.
Rani Bear.
Rani Bear.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. Tell us what you're stepping away from to be here, because I like that he used the word empire. So I'm curious as to what he meant and what he meant by empire.
Okay. By empire, it means that I have a clothing brand, RK Collection. I have a beauty studio, RK Beauty Studio. I have a hair brand, RK Hair Collection. And just to mention a few. So, leaving all that behind is because this movie is is one, like, when I did this project, I didn't really see myself going back into acting, because it's when I got into business, like, I was so deep into it, and I didn't really see the need to start going back into acting, something that had really stressed me without little or no payment. Like, I said, let me concentrate on the business. So when this project came, I looked at the vision, and then I told myself that maybe this is an opportunity for me to go back into acting. Because for some time I had just abandoned it and I concentrated on business, concentrated on building my brand, because it's really what has been important to me until the time the project came in. So when I started, while filming, I started seeing myself back to what I really love to do. And then my producer, also my boss, he's a gentleman, and I could see his vision. Just the fact that you are producing a film, that you are not there to see what the actors are doing on set, but then he will be calling, asking to know how the project is going. At one point, a lot was happening on set that he could give up. He could just say, no, this thing I'm trying to do is in Cameroon is not going to work. So if he couldn't give up, why should I not just pursue it and then share his vision with him? Like, it's the business and everything is really worth sacrificing to come over here for this premiere. And remember, this is not the first. This is like the third premiere. There was a premiere in Cameroon. There have been a premiere in Dubai. So this is the third premiere. It's a whole lot, and there's gonna be a lot of premieres coming up again.
Tell me about the premiere in Dubai. I'm gonna stay with you.
Okay, the premiere in Dubai was in September. That's August ending. It was really good. We had to fly from Cameroon to Canada to Dubai. He also left Canada to Dubai. I mean, you cannot imagine how, going to premiere a film where you don't know if people will show up, because it's not your country.
Yeah.
We didn't even have people in Dubai. We're just trying, like, let's just try and see. And when it worked, when I saw people pull up, I asked myself, if this thing can work in Dubai,
It can work anywhere.
it can work anywhere. This is us. We are here in Canada today. Something we are not even imagining that we will come to Canada for this. So his vision is just so great. Like, it's so great, and he really, really has passion for this. And if us, the new generation, I call ourselves the new generation in the field, yeah. So if we cannot share that vision with him, I think we're just being selfish or not really knowing what you want. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to ask them to make a movie with the older generation and include me, just so I can vote. So now we're here at the movie, right?
Mhm.
Who's gonna tell me about the movie? I'm gonna let Temi tell me about the movie. Tell me about the movie.
Yeah, the movie is about the story of a young girl who goes through a lot of strife and struggles, and finally, at one point, she thinks luck has shined on her, but unfortunately, there was still more trouble ahead. So it is just a summary of what a typical young girl in a rural community in Cameroon, Africa would go through. I'm not saying every young girl or every woman goes through that, but typically, putting everything aside, that's what most young girls will go through, or most young girls go through. And it is stemming from the civil strife, or let me say, like an intertribal strife between two communities fighting over a parcel of land, and then they transfer their fight over to a young girl whom both people or both the leaders of the fights want that same woman. And at the end of the day, the person who suffers most is the poor young girl. So it is just, the story is just to put the challenges of a young girl into a screenplay. That's basically what we're trying to communicate in the story.
Ladies, how relatable is the characters to things, and the characters' experiences to things that you've faced?
I would say it's there are more day-to-day activities that we encounter, like what this lady goes through in the movie. It is very common with us ladies. That is what we face mostly in the hands of men. I would say that way, or boys, any area of them. So her going through every step of the way, and at one point you feel like you found true love, and at one point it goes down. So I would just say you just play around.
I want to say it, I'm still at Renee.
Rani.
Rennie.
Yeah, just call Rani.
Rennie.
Yeah. You're getting there.
I'm getting it, but I'm not confident enough to call it up because I don't want to call her name out too many wrong times tonight.
Okay.
Same question. How relatable?
Yes, it's first of all, acting is putting real life story into
Yeah.
acting, like a screenplay, like my boss earlier said. So it's just the normal societal happenings, facing challenges as a young girl growing up, getting trust from society, men molesting you, abusing you, all this. It's just the normal societal happenings. But I won't really want to give you all the details in this movie. Why not just come to our premiere and let's watch premiere together? Let's watch the movie.
Is that my official invite?
Yes, of course.
I'm coming to the. We're coming to the movie anyway.
Nice.
But it's listening to, the struggles of or relating to the struggles of a young woman in certain countries, right? It might still be continuing in certain places in Africa, right?
Sure.
It's also a Caribbean experience, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, so being from Jamaica, it might have been a little bit before because women have found that they got power, especially music and stuff. So it still happens, but not as much, right? In certain places in Africa, like you said, it's still there.
Mm-hmm.
When you become successful as a woman in whatever you're doing, is there a sense of kind of, how should I put this? You look back at men and want to say, you can't hold me back, you can't.
Yes, of course. Of course, it's there. As a woman, first of all, when you are independent, when you can do things for yourself, at some point you'll be like, maybe you don't even need a man. But and again, as a woman, you still need a man because you still need that support from a man. No matter how you provide things for yourself, no matter how bossy you are, no matter what you have, when the absence of a man in your life, it doesn't really give you that respect you deserve, especially in the society, because most men think every independent woman is very disrespectful, so they tend to go for.
Well, it depends on the society. It depends on the society.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like my society. I'm talking about where I come from.
Yes.
Yes, because when you see a man, first of all, it's been a long time a man even approached me to like, especially in Cameroon.
Yeah,
They
because
always look at me like, nah, this girl is a self-made girl. Like, she's gonna be so disrespectful. Coupled with the fact that my name is attributed to a king because I call myself like King RK. So I just feel like, oh, this man is already a man and a woman. Like, you
okay.
understand?
So then I'm gonna ask you about the name. Tell me, give me the background on taking the name King Alki.
Yes, okay. The reason why I gave myself that, I didn't even give myself that name. My fans actually gave me that name because I'm that kind of person that I hustle like a slave. First of all, I really hustle, like I work, and I even forget that a woman needs a man. So at one point, people started calling me King. I was like, wow, this title suits me. I accepted, and then I started living like a king. I cannot say I'm living like a king, or like as per the name. You understand? Because of I have a son that I'm a single parent. I single-handedly raised him, and then my business I built it from scratch to where it is now. So people that have really watched me struggle, they are the ones who gave me that name because I think I deserve it. But it's rather unfortunate that I actually have a man now. So I don't know what will happen to that title. But anyway, let's keep holding on to it.
You know what? I get to say I'm sitting beside the king, right? All right. So you know what? I can live with that. I can live with that. The premiere is on Saturday night, right? You've got a few days. What goes on as you get ready for another premiere? Give me the mindset. Maybe you're bringing this. This is your home now,
Yeah.
right? And you're bringing your movie to your new home. There's challenges, right? As you said, every time you go to a different country, you don't know what's in store for you,
Yeah.
Exactly.
right? London, Ontario poses its own challenges. I think it's different because the Afro scene just started to really truly make it here.
Yeah.
London is behind, well, not necessarily behind. I think, Canada on a whole it's except for Toronto and a few other places, it's a little bit behind, right? But because there were several African countries that have residents here. I remember back in the day, the Sudanese, they were here. They were one of the earlier ones. And when they came, the Afro movement isn't what it is today, so they didn't get the support. Now, if you're of an African descent, there's a little bit more around. You can find people from, like I said, Sudan. You can find Congo. We're here in this place right here is actually a Congolese church that we work with. There is Burundi. There's and so there's a little bit more support here now. How are you expecting your movie to go over?
Well, actually, like you rightly said, Canada and maybe London, Ontario in particular is a little bit behind when it comes to the Afro culture or Afro people of Afro descent coming together. Yeah, that's a fact. But one thing I would tell you is it's inevitable. We're going to come together. We are already doing that. For example, I just started this movie project. It's one of my very first projects. And then as well, I just met you as well with the TV. Who knows what was in store for us in the next 2-3 years. Probably when I do another movie, it's going to be showcasing on your channel 24 hours.
You know what? Of course.
Yeah.
Of course I would say of course.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we just started. Because if you go, you see every African or every person of Afro descent, they're trying to do one thing or the other, like like a lot of Afro businesses, especially after the COVID, right?
Yeah.
Many Afro businesses have popped up, especially in London, Ontario, and we're all picking up because we came to a point to realize that we need to start building a community or maybe consuming our own self. So with regards to our moving, the plan is just like, okay, this is the very first one. We've galvanized, or we're galvanizing as many people as we can to come watch the movie. Give us reviews, which is very important to us. Let us know exactly what they think can be good for a London, Ontario black community or a blend. And it's the same thing we'll do in every other city in Canada that we go to. Then we use those reviews and be able to plan or build something better for the future, which can actually bridge the Afro culture in Canada and the Afro culture back in Africa.
You know what? That's well said.
Yeah.
I gotta backtrack a little bit because one of the questions I didn't ask was, how long did it take you to make the movie?
Oh, the total timing, let me say, it's
when you
about,
thought about it?
yeah, it's about a year, 6 months. It took us almost a year to write the script. We went back and forth with the writer, and then it took me another about 3 months to be able to put the funds together. Then it took us another 6 weeks to 8 weeks to shoot, and I think about a month or two for the editor to go through. So approximately a year and 8 months, 6 months to a year, 8 months put together, and that's 20 months averagely. That's how we got where we are.
When you started the process, did you have a time frame in mind? Did you say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna do this movie, I've got this idea, it's gonna take me a year, it's gonna take me 6 months? Was it exactly as how you thought it would be, or was the process?
Not at all.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Biggest challenge.
Yeah, nothing happened just exactly the way we wanted. The only thing that happened exactly the way we wanted is we wanted to do a film. That's the only exact thing that happened. That we started and then we got a film, which was our very first intention. One of the biggest challenge, which I wouldn't shy to say, was finances.
Yeah.
At one point, the finances for the project were weighing on my neck. Like, I envisaged a certain amount, then when we were on set, so many things happened, so many setbacks, so many delays, then the budget kept going up. Shout out to my other sister, Scholastica, as well. She came in and then supported me, and we were able to complete the project, and today we are here as well. So another challenge was the challenges of a first-timer as well. I wouldn't shy to say that. It's my first feature. While in TFS, I did about 3-4 short films with other castmates, but I wasn't very sure, or I didn't know exactly doing a feature film entails a lot more. But what is important is I now know better. One of the challenge was the challenges of a first-timer. We made some mistakes. We sometimes over budget, sometimes we minimize time, sometimes we undermine certain things, and to an extent, you just pay the price, and one of the greatest prices is delay when it comes to doing a project for your very first time. But that notwithstanding, we were able to go through everything despite the challenges, and today we have a film.
Where did you meet your cast?
Yes, that's a very challenging question.
Man, look at all the smiles. Look at all the smiles. I say, where did you meet your cast? The ladies just smiling. So I know there's got to be some good stories.
Yeah, the social media has really done, let me say, is the eighth wonder
Okay,
of the
so
world.
let me get. So you went on social media. Looking for Cameroon. Cameroon.
No, not really.
Actress,
Like I
okay.
went looking for Cameroon actresses. I had developed passion for this very long. As far back as 2014, I would always see myself gravitating to content, those who were doing this. But I wasn't very sure if that's what I wanted to do. I didn't even pay attention. I just kept following. So by 2018, 2019, when I was seriously contemplating about this, I'd already have knowledge about a cream of most of the people who were in the industry within my home country of Cameroon. And then the two of them, they were part of a show, a reality TV show. I followed both of them, how they all began, how they were in the house. I even knew them way before we ever met. So both of them, like, I knew them when they were in the Big Brother show, because we had a Big Brother show in Cameroon. I was very, very keen following on social media and other TV stations, and that's how I got to know many of them. And then when it came time for me to do casting, that's one thing I took serious in school, casting. And I immediately and gradually cast the movie together with the director and the production manager. Many times we always had differences, but what was very important is we always came to an agreement. For example, Zita here, when I casted her for the lead cast, the director wasn't very sure. The director said, with his experience as a director, I always want to work with someone as a lead cast who has done multiple support roles. I think Zita had just done one or two. I told her that, you know what, I followed this girl on TikTok, I follow her on Big Brother, she will do it, she can do it. They posed me challenges, no, you're going to spend a lot of money, are you sure? I said yes. We had some heated exchanges, but at the end, she did the role. But you know, the director was the first person to come and tell me, you saw what I couldn't see. He said for a very long time, because the director is a very experienced director, he told me for a very long time has he worked with a first, not really first time, like a younger actor or someone with very young knowledge in acting, and they went so smooth that he was resisting, knowing that I'm giving him a lot of work while he's going to be on set, but things just went smoothly. The shoot was good. She performed and delivered more than he expected. So casting or meeting the cast, I would just say 60 to 70% was social media, 30% from other referrals and meeting other people. Yeah.
Ladies, y'all are smiling. So that means I'm gonna say shooting the movie was a good experience.
Yeah.
Okay. Worst experience. Pretend he's not here. So this is just a conversation between me and you. We're just gonna keep him out of it for the worst. What's the worst experience you had?
I'll say worst experience was like, doing, it was really hard. It was hard, like going out of your own self, like even going out of the character, doing things that you didn't expect, like you didn't see yourself doing it, It was, at some point they'll be like, okay, some of the cast and crew members should just go behind the scenes.
So
I'm just left with the director and the DOP here, and let's shoot. You get. So scenes like that, it was really tense. It wasn't easy.
Okay, so when I'm watching the movie on,
Yeah,
on
you're going to
Saturday,
see.
no, you're gonna point me on and say, okay,
That's
see
it.
that scene, that's the
Yeah.
one I wanted. I wanted everybody to not see.
Yes, exactly.
Worst scene.
I didn't really have a worst scene. It was her. Yeah, so you watch the movie. When you watch, you come back and ask me.
All right, it's fair enough. Um, best thing that happened to you in the movie. Now you're going first.
Okay.
I like-
Shall I go first?
Yeah, best thing that happened to you in the movie.
You mean on set or in the movie?
On the set during. Yes, I should clear that up. When I say on the movie, I mean
During
on
the
the set
set.
during the production, during the filming, everything. Best thing that happened.
Okay, when the producer got to me to feature in this project, I didn't even know who I was going to film with. So, Zita and I we have been friends since from the beginning to the 7 show. So I never even knew she was on set filming. So the time I got there and I saw her, you know, I was happy
Okay.
that at least I'm filming with someone I know. You know, sometimes having to meet new people and trying to fit in with people with from different backgrounds, different attitudes is very difficult. So when I saw her on set, then Ram Snore, I don't know, do you know about Ram Snore from Nigeria?
No,
Okay, you'll find out.
I'm gonna have
from
to
the
find.
movie.
I'm gonna have to find.
Yeah.
out. Okay.
So he's also a famous actor
Okay.
in Nigeria. So when I saw him, I was like, wow. So this guy is also on this set. This is serious.
Okay.
And I even had to film with him. I was facing a lot of challenges. Like, this guy is too big. Like, at one point I was feeling so uncomfortable because, you know, filming with someone that is way more than you, yeah, you get scared. Like, what if you're not doing the right thing? And when it's just flowing, it's just like you're not making sense in anything you're doing, but because you have passion for what you do, you're just doing it. So the best thing that basically happened to me on that set is the fact that I was filming with her and I was filming with Ramson and some other people that I knew.
Right.
So it made everything,
Made everything
easy.
just
Yeah.
okay. Why should people come and watch the movie? You guys gotta plug the movie now. Then you gotta. Why should people come and watch the movie?
First things first, people should come and watch this movie because the fact that this movie has been premiered in Cameroon, our home country, our homeland, it has been premiered in Dubai, and we are in Canada. You should know that there is something special about this movie. There is something very, very special about this movie. If not, we won't even have the courage to want to premiere it here.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Yes.
and coupled with the fact that the story is not an ordinary story that you just see around. It's rare, like it's worth watching. It's a masterpiece, so I encourage each and every one of you come out and watch this work of art.
Yeah, in addition to what Zita just said and what Rani Best said, the story is not just ordinary. The way it is told, it is a normal, like, story, like you just hear challenges of a young girl in a rural setting, maybe in Cameroon or in Africa. But the way the director and the writer decided to put the story on screenplay will marvel you. I remember every time I've sat down to watch with every person or many people sometimes I've come across and we have to watch the movie, they're always like, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Till the end. Like, it's just like moving from one pace to the other. There's no boring moment on
No boring moment.
not at all.
Man,
The story is like it puts your tense, expecting like what is gonna happen. Even me myself, I'm the story the story originally is from me. I pitched that to a writer who wrote the story. When it was put on screenplay, I didn't believe it's the same story I gave out because it was like, the pace. The pace gives you that. I don't want to say anxiety, like anxiousness for you to be able to want to know what is going to happen next. So another important thing about the movie is that it is not just a home movie like most other drama. It is shot in a cinematic standard. Yeah, the quality and everything is impeccable. The sound, the lighting. So that's why we are really looking forward to having a couple of people who are film enthusiasts to give us reviews about that, so that we know what we can improve on or what we can do next to be able to improve it. Like she said, I've watched a lot of movies, good ones, bad ones, shitty ones. If ours were like, we wouldn't be bringing in, flying in people going around. No, it is a masterpiece, and we hope that London, Toronto are going to pull out this weekend for us to be able to put our movie out there. Yeah.
All right. So whether you're from the 519, the 416, the 647,
Yeah.
London, Toronto, all parts in between, you gotta show up. You gotta support the movie.
Amen.
We're gonna get some clips of this, and we're gonna try to push it out on social media for the next couple of days.
Yeah.
I want to thank Femi. I want to thank Zita. I want to thank Lenny Bear. See, I had to save the best for last, right? So, thank you all for being part of Real Talk. On behalf of all our sponsors, once again, big shouts to the Wing Community Center, Up Like 7 Barbershop, Paranite Bar and Grill. Who am I missing? From the 613, they call Rhythm Movements Community Association. Rhythm Flow Fest coming up on the 11th and 12th of August. Coming back in London, big shouts to Stephen and everybody over at Pride. Our other guest hosts who will be back in another couple weeks, Angel at the Fix, and then of course Black Lotus, and for type diabetes, for all your health needs. If you're suffering with diabetes, if you know somebody that's suffering from diabetes and want to get recipes and things to do that fits you in the Black community, look up Type Diabetes. And for that, we like to say it's a faith with Black. Once again, thank you everybody, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
The Wizard.